talk about the entire injury report, at least the updated version. Our buddy Paul Brettel tweeted it out earlier today. And here is the updated Wednesday injury report. You guys know yesterday there wasn't really a practice. It was more of a walkthrough. Today they actually practiced. So let's focus on what's changed from yesterday, okay? The big news of the day, we broke that news earlier today on the show. Obviously, Bo Melton was placed on IR. I don't want to say it caught me off guard, Jacob, but it was one of those things where it's like I was kind of holding out a little hope that it might not be as bad as we all thought it was going to be with Bo Melton, because obviously he's a key special teams contributor, but nonetheless, he is going on IR. He is done for the year. We will not see him throughout the playoffs. A guy who has played receiver, he's played meaningful reps on special teams. I don't think it's like a backbreaker, Jacob, but yeah, I think it is going to be something that's important for special teams, man, no doubt.
Yeah, and I feel like Bo Melton really hasn't gotten enough credit this year. I think he's probably gotten more criticism than anything. I think I listened to your pod either earlier today or the day before where, if you were to ask the average Packer fan, how was the season? Did he have a good season? I think most people would honestly say, it was a bad season. But when you look at the Swiss Army knife that he was for this team, literally doing anything and everything they asked him to do, whether that was in the return game, the gunner, switching to cornerback, switching back to wide receiver, actually coming in some key plays. And I think one of your main points that I really agreed with was that we remember a key play or two where it was maybe like at a certain point in the game where it was pretty impactful. But that being said, when he listed through his stats and what he actually put on paper, I think that's a heck of a team player right there. So obviously losing him, never want to see that happen. And what does that now make 17 guys for us on IR heading into the playoffs? I still believe in this team, man. Is it definitely going to – I think that it might hurt us a little more than people may even think, just because he does a lot of the stuff that is a little more unsung. But I appreciate Bo. I appreciate what he did for us this year, and I wish we could have him back.
Yeah, definitely. And Emilio, the other thing that changed here on the injury report, Edgerrin Cooper went from limited to full participation. I don't think anybody was worried about him playing on Saturday night. John Williams with the back injury was limited and then listed NA. So what I'm hearing with John Williams, unfortunately, is that practice window that you open up where you can activate him, it has now passed. So he will go back on IR. So he's done for the year. So at least we got John Williams back and got him some meaningful reps on practice and kind of get some practice tape of him, obviously. But other than that, the injury report has kind of stayed the same. Essentially, Emilio, what you got is Bo Melton is the only player on the active roster, or was on the active roster going into today, that did not practice. So you're getting somewhat healthy. Obviously you don't want to have that 4-game skid that you did, but, sitting those guys and kind of playing for the playoffs has definitely paid off, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. The receipt's gotten a lot shorter, which is huge. Placed on IR for Bo is tough. I think that it's going to really kind of just affect the special teams. Like Coach Lynn was asking, who's the gunner now? That's, great question. Who's going to step up and play that position? Don't look now. Our special teams is 21st off PFF grade. So, hey, 76-2. It's in the green. That's a lot better than we've had. But, I think Bo had a little bit to do with that, right? And like Tim was saying, Swiss Army knife. But, yeah, I'm glad that the list has gotten shorter. Guys have gotten healthier, time to rest, rehab, and just ready to go. I mean, you got to give it all right now or else it's the off season. So,
yeah, definitely. And Tim, when you look at it here, the one I was kind of concerned about was Javon Bullard, right? Limited with the knee. He's still limited. It sounds like he's good to go. I don't know if you remember hearing him in the locker room today, but my man is ready to roll, dude. I love how he's being more vocal, and I think he's grading out in the mid 60s now, low to mid 60s, which is a big step from where he was last year. I think Javon Bullard being good to go in this game, along with Edgerrin Cooper, of course, and Zach Tom, like we talked about, is going to be absolutely huge, man.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think, like you said about Bo, it's tough, him going to IR. We are losing a valuable piece there. But other than Bo, we haven't seen any step backs on the injury report. Nobody took a step back. Everyone's either the same or, looking at Edge Coop going from limited to full. That's a good sign. I look at LVN with that nagging foot issue that he's been dealing with for the last few months. Yeah. He's still a full participant, so that's good to see. We're going to need all hands on deck in Chicago on Saturday night. So it's going to be interesting to see who steps up. Like you said, we know Javon Bullard's tuned up, ready to go. You can tell, and talk is cheap, right? But you love to hear your players with the right mindset and the right attitude going into, the biggest game of the year against, the biggest rival in your division and really in the league. really the biggest rivalry in the National Football League, if you want to be historically accurate. So this is a huge game on multiple fronts, and it's just good that, we're getting healthy right in the nick of time, or at least as healthy as we can be at this point in the year. So I agree with your point at the top there, Clayton, that clearly the decision to go ahead and, let the Vikings handle business last week and we just rest our guys. I think it paid off dividends because looking at this injury report right now on a Wednesday, I'm feeling pretty good going into a Saturday night matchup.
Yeah, me too. Malik Willis, too, is another big player that we were really, really concerned about. Right shoulder / hammy, limited all week. Now, it has been pretty much confirmed that I believe the plan is both he and Desmond Ridder will be active on game day. So we will have 3 quarterbacks ready to go. Jordan Love, Malik Willis, Desmond Ridder. I think we all agree nobody wants to see Desmond Ridder in the game, but it's nice to know you got an extra guy back there in case, Lord forbid, everything goes haywire like it did last time where obviously Malik Willis had to leave the game. The other one, too, for me is Dontavion Wicks with the concussion. I think it could be sneaky important for Dontavion Wicks to be active in this game because, again, it's kind of – we don't have Bo Melton to play F now, right? Yep. So hopefully Wicks gets activated. Hopefully he clears concussion protocol so you got him out there to help play the F when Jaden Reed comes off the field because you don't want to have to pull Matthew Golden back to the F. You want to keep a good, healthy rotation of him with Romeo in the X, and you obviously want to put him as the speed Z guy when Christian comes off the field. And like I said, if somebody gets a little banged up in that game, you're good to go there too. So, yeah. But let's move along now to actually Coach Lynn points this out too. He says Nick Nyman is back, so that's great news, right? Again, another player that could potentially help on special teams as well. Now, on the Chicago Bears side, the 2 names I was keeping a close eye on here were the wide receivers, DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. DJ Moore, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to keep him off the football field Saturday night. He's a tough competitor. That dude wants to be out there. He knows you're going to be very, very limited on how many times you actually make it to the playoffs, and you got to make the most of it. He's got a knee injury. He's limited both days. I think he'll go. Rome Odunze with the foot, however, limited. But we've seen this. Like, it seems like there were multiple weeks, Tim, where we looked up and we're like, yeah, I think Rome Odunze will go this week, and then lo and behold, he was inactive. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's inactive, although I think we would all agree if I had to put my money on it, I'd say Rome will be out there.
I think so, too. And then you look at the bottom of their list there, Jade Walker, with the illness, he was out, has been out. Now he's a full participant as of today. So maybe that's some kind of contingency plan for their receiver room. And then, like you said, I think all these guys are going to try to go if they're limited or questionable going into this game. But when it comes to Rome Odunze and even DJ Moore with the knee, you're going to be looking at those guys, as the game progresses, right? Did they tweak something? Are they on a snap count? Do they have to rotate more just because they're playing through injury? We saw that with Josh Jacobs. We talked about him fighting through the knee injury issues and kind of being on a snap count, being used limited, but available for a game. So I could see that being a big possibility with those receivers there in Chicago.
Yeah, and in terms of the players that are out here, Emilio, Grady Jarrett, defensive lineman, just veteran rest, did not participate. I think he'll be good to go, obviously. Jalen Jones, defensive back with the ankle, was not on the injury report Tuesday. He was limited today, so it sounds like that ankle might be bothering him a little bit. And then Amen, linebacker with a concussion, did not participate. I think he's probably going to be out, seeing that he was a DNP here, obviously, today. Those are the 4 that have kind of changed. Obviously the 4th being what Tim was talking about there with Jade Walker probably being a little backup plan if Rome or DJ Moore can't play. Anything stick out to you here? Anything else you want to hit on the Bears injury report?
Yeah, just a lot on the defensive side there. Maybe that they're kind of fighting through, and the fact that you got 4 DBs on there. Yeah, 2 of them are returning. One of them's returning. So are they weak in the secondary, or is that something maybe that you want to look at attacking? Who's going to be in there if they're not playing, those sort of things? You got to kind of keep an eye on as these days come to an end here.
I agree. I, for one, am a little sad that CJ Gardner-Johnson's probably not going to play. I was looking forward to putting belt to ass against the Bears with him on the field.
Yeah. And again, it being a concussion protocol, not being cleared Wednesday, I think there's a good chance he won't be out there. Now, I don't think he's a great football player, Tim, by no stretch of the imagination, but he does have a lot of experience, so it's like you got to kind of take that into consideration.
Well, I don't think he's a great player either. That's why I want him on the field.
Right, exactly. So it's like it's one of those things that do you put a younger player out there? Would you rather have him out there, even though he hasn't been the best pro, right? The pro defensive back, but he's got a lot more experience, can kind of, maybe recognize route combinations a little bit more than maybe a younger, unproven player. I kind of go back and forth on that a little bit, but nonetheless, it definitely doesn't make them better with him not being out there. I don't believe so.
I will say this: we did a little dirtbag watch homework too on this officiating crew. And when you're speaking about DBs, this crew is known for calling illegal contacts, throwing a lot of flags. So we could see a lot of flags in the secondary. So yeah, it could be a situation where if you've got backups out there and they're getting a little handsy, that could have an impact on this ball game for sure.
Yeah, Jake, if you got anything to add since Tim mentioned handsy there, anything about?
Well, I could go a number of ways in that direction, but no, I mean, I agree with him. CJ Garner-Johnson, I would rather him be playing because I just think that he is a subpar caliber player. I think he's a subpar caliber human. I think that the rest of that, he just seems like such a bad guy. I do, for the first time in a long time, I'm more motivated by the lack of guys on our injury report. Obviously, we have some guys that are working through some stuff, but I think that having some key guys back that we did not have in this last matchup, I don't see any sort of like mismatch where I don't think that our guys can match up with the Bears, especially if they are going to be without a few of those guys. I am going to see maybe I think to me the most interesting one is going to be how that Odunze, if he decides he wants to muscle through the pain. I mean, I would imagine he would have to, right? Bears, Packers, got to be his first playoff appearance. It's interesting. If he does not play, that to me tells a lot about that player. It really does.
Yeah. I completely agree, man. Because again, it could be the last game of the season, right? You want to leave it all out there. You got the next several months to kind of recover and all that. So there is your full Packers Bears injury report. If you guys are watching this video back later, let us know in the comments. How do you feel about the Packers getting healthy? Do you think it was the right move sitting those starters the last couple of weeks? How do you feel about the Bears? Do you think that they've got a roster that can go out there and beat the Packers at home on Saturday night? We want to hear from you in the comments. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click the bell icon.